Look at me, I'm even fumbling here with my notes.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Just your notes?
Let me just adjust my notes.
Sarah, is that you?
Our next writer. Without further ado, is Jorge Antonio Vallejos. He's a Toronto-based mixed-race poet, essayist, and journalist. His work has appeared in the Kenyan Review, Descent, Crave It, and currently the Yellow Medicine Review. He runs blackcoffeepoet.com and the Black Coffee Poet YouTube channel. Subscribe for free. Put your hands together for Jorge Antonio Vallejo.
Okay. My knee hurts, so I'm just gonna sit down. Thank you very much for coming. I'm gonna read from the Yellow Medicine Review, and it's an all-indigenous journal. I recommend for all the writers in here to submit. It's at the University of Minnesota, and I'm proud to be part of it. So this is the fall issue, and this is an experimental piece. It's called a mosaic essay, which means like different chunks of writing that don't flow into each other, but are around the same theme. And it's called "The Streets Are Talking: Chronicles of a Brown Flaneur." And a flaneur is something that came about like in Paris in the early 1900s, and it's somebody who's probably high and walks around the city and then writes about it. Just that I don't drink or do drugs or anything. I'm just high naturally, and I walk a lot. Some of you in this room have hung out with me, and if you're gonna hang out with Jorge, you're gonna walk. All right. So again, and each little chunk has its own title. Walking to me is prayer, meditation, and metaphor. It is ceremony. I'm present, focused, and reverent. I give thanks every day for my feet, the ability to walk, once taken away when I broke both my legs, my hands, and clean drinking water. Many people walk through life without seeing what they have or the many stages they go through: birth, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, the elderly years, and all the beauty that comes with them. Some people walk for exercise. Others walk to get places, sometimes in a hurry, sometimes not. Many times listening to an iPod or texting instead of their surroundings, looking down at the ground, or nowhere really, just ahead as if in a trance, moving from one realm to another, one destination to the next, time and space gone, never to return. I walk to think, see, be, feel, breathe, take in, release. I love hearing the soles of my shoes touch Pachamama and see the different moods of Father Sky on different days, seasons, places. Glass comes at us. We walk east on Bloor Street, east being the direction of new beginnings. The Royal Ontario Museum has just launched its new edition. People look at it in awe. They see beauty. Vern and I see ugliness. We laugh. Glass points at us, hangs over us, takes a confrontational stance like a skunk ready to spray. It carves into the air and takes up unnecessary space. Homeless shelters are shut down while construction on Bloor Street thrives. The new edition is transparent, unlike the goings-on of its financial backers. Our feet take us to this new beginning. The sun shines on us. Two chubby brown boys with black hair are curious to see what looms over them. "You got an invitation?" says the security guard. "No Anishinaabe allowed, eh?" says Vern. We turn back on track and laugh. The down low. Cars pass as people go home. The workday is done. A gust of wind passes us as we stare at Dijmon Honsu, at the corner of Church Street and Carlton Street. He sports dark skin, a shaved head, beautiful pectorals, and white underwear. He stands out in the white background. Underneath the Calvin Klein advertisement is the sign for the AIDS Committee of Toronto building. The queer village is dominated by white, able-bodied, upper-class, non-trans males. They are the background and the front stage. Two-spirits aren't even an afterthought, and it's their land. Gays were blamed for the AIDS pandemic in the 1980s. When word of the down low came out 2 years ago, Oprah made it sound like married black men from the suburbs were spreading AIDS by engaging in secretive homosexual activity in urban areas. Zipper's Bar is across the street from the Hansu CK poster that has him resting on top of the ACT building. Interesting, ironic, unintelligent. Cracked sidewalks equals cracked joints. Quito rests at a high altitude. My calves flex as I walk up and down hills. Buses pass with men pass with men hanging out open doors calling people in. The air is black from all the mufflers that would be banned in Canada. Cops roll in vanfuls. Families travel with kids hanging out the backs of pickup trucks. Peeled sugarcane and mangoes are sold in the streets. My eyes wander as I take everything in. Suddenly, I drop half a foot, feel emptiness in my chest, shock up my spine, and see my left foot in a ditch while my right is behind me. I wake up to the reality that the luxury of Toronto sidewalks is far, far away. The world is mine in Guangzhou. University of Toronto puts us up in a 5-star hotel. White Scarface-like bathrobes with matching slippers lay on our beds waiting for us. A view of the entire city is outside of my window. A huge pool rests below. 4 restaurants are on the 2nd floor. A rub-and-tug massage parlor is in the basement. The only non-Asians other than my class are white businessmen. The real Guangzhou China is nowhere in sight. Fellow students hurry to buy cheap beer and wine, get their bathing suits to go tanning and swimming, or go shopping at the New York-like district that shines 5 minutes away. Neon lights glow alongside the streets where tourists and rich Chinese spend money trying to keep up with American fashion. I walk into a running shoe store where an employee points at me and yells, "Adam Iverson!" I have cornrows, but I'm not 7 feet tall, and I'm not African American. My friend and I laugh. Walking through the crowd, different men rush us trying to sell Armani suits, Rolex watches, and knockoff laptops. We're handed business cards with misspelled English telling prices and brands of various products. Our arms are being pulled in different directions from different guys selling different things, wanting to take my friends and I to different places. We continue walking the neon path. Kreitzberg rules. I have a 2-bedroom apartment for 6 weeks in what many Berliners call the ghetto. Turks and Arabs inhabit the area. Open courtyards lay behind apartment buildings. Beer is sold and drunk everywhere. Fruit stands are abundant. Doner kebabs are the popular meal. "I want to fuck girls," yells my new roommate within the first 5 minutes of meeting him. Hours later, cigarette butts and spritzers conquer my balcony. A red light shines all night across the street. 15 euros if you take the worker home or to your car, and 40 euros if you rent a room for 20 minutes. I see a cop about once a day, compared to 20 in Toronto. Junkies hang by the subway station selling dope while drinking beer all day. I don't see one act of violence in 6 weeks. I'd see violence 6 times a day in Toronto if public drinking was legal. My braids and dance moves get attention at a hip-hop club. "Teach my friend how to dance," says a girl from Iceland. I dance with her friend, and then some Turkish girls, and guys from England and France. I spend the rest of my evening with Alejandra, who won't go home with me because her friend is jealous and won't mind her fucking business. I lose my friends, so I walk home at 4:30 a.m. It is already lights out. I'm sweaty, but not cold. I drink 1.5 liters of water while walking. Cabs are all that's on the road. I cut through a park that ends up being a cruising ground. A guy in his mid-30s with straight, slicked back, black hair, and blue jeans looks at me, pulls down his zipper. I decline by looking straight ahead as I walk. Steel shines. The first social forum and second indigenous summit of the Americas are over. I have 10 days left in Quito. I stay at El Centro del Mundo hostel for $4 US a night. I hang with Italian dreads, coked up Brits, American hippies, and Israeli soldiers just off their IDF tour. We eat $2 dinners, rice, salad, potatoes, and thin tender steak. Beer is cheap and so is yayo. It is party time in the tourist part of Quito referred to as Gringolandia by the locals. I take a walk alone so as to get away from the party people. I'm sick of stupid jokes, meaningless conversation, and being the only sober person and person of color at all times. I walk toward the internet cafe. It's 9:30 at night and the streets are busy. I hear tapping as I jaywalk toward a group of 4 young guys hanging on a corner. Runners, jeans, and hats twisted back are what they wear. My tan skin and black hair blend in, but my body language doesn't. A blade rests in the hand of one of the boys and glimmers under a lamppost. He doesn't hide it as he plays a beat on his thigh. Within half a second, I decide whether to keep walking or turn back, to maintain my cool and not show fear, and wonder how many times he's cleaned blood off his tiny, sharp moneymaker. I nod up, what up, receive one in return, and keep walking. I pass a security guard who is 30 steps away and wonder why he's even fucking there. The Israelis are robbed later that night. I guess they couldn't push around them brown folks. The church owes. We walk east to Goodwill. Trees lining side streets listen to our conversations. No one else would understand. A big pit is fenced off and filled with nothing but the machines that take from it. Condominiums are being built everywhere. A Christian organization is the owner of the property according to the sign on the fence. The church has to build condos to pay off the residential school settlement, says Vern. Nabe and Vern are survivors. The 3 of us laugh. Copper feathers soar. Anishinaabe and Crees hang at Brewer Street and Spadina Road. Medicine pouches, chokers, and copper feathers are sold in front of the Tim Hortons coffee shop. All sorts walk by. Street people, students, gym rats, and business folk. Lots of people look at the art being sold. As they walk by, their heads turn and their eyes lock on the leather, beads, and carved metal that hang from a tree. Curiosity isn't enough to stop them to spend some dough and talk to the first peoples of the stolen land now called Canada. Cars pull up behind them to buy liquid energy. People yell for cabs alongside them. Others walk up and ask for weed. Some approach them asking for res cigarettes. City-employed thugs try shutting my brothers down. Holding papers stating colonial laws, they try laying fines and seizing the artwork. 15 brothers holding beer bottles and clenched fists surround them. They haven't returned. Some land claims don't need to be fought in court. I walk and walk and walk. Always the streets talk. Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, if you're a writer, please submit to Yellow Medicine Review. And please subscribe to my website, blackcoffeepoet.com, and the Black Coffee Poet YouTube channel. I'm also Black Coffee Poet on Facebook, so please friend me. And also look out for a couple of big projects that I'm planning. I'm doing one to celebrate fatness. So we're going to do a whole week on that, you know, with a round table of like people who identify as fat, and hopefully a photo essay and poetry and etc. And then I'm doing another week around sexual consent. Again, around a round table with folks, and just, you know, trying to do different projects. And I'm making a film about indigenous men and men of color against rape culture. So look out for that. Thank you very much.
Oh my God! Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right on, ladies and gentlemen. Jorge Antonio Vallejos.